Come and take a seat while I bring the heat. I'm your host with the most. My name is Dizzy, and I'm definitely gonna keep you busy. Grand morning, grand afternoon, grand evening, wherever you are in the world. Yes, I'm your host with the most, like it said. My name is Dizzy, and I'm definitely going to keep you busy for the next 55 minutes and 55 seconds, or however long it takes. And today's episode 122 of Sit Down Sundays. It gives me great pleasure. And this has been one of my dreams since I met this individual. On this week's episode, we have none other than Dr. John Demartini joining us to talk about contribution. John, what a pleasure to have you on my show.
Thank you for having me, Dizzy. Thank you.
So we're talking about contribution, and one of my visions when I found my purpose in life was this broadcasting and sharing the message was something I really, really wanted to do. And that journey was amplified and magnified and really pinpointed at your breakthrough, because I was this positive guy. I'd been to all these things, and I came to your workshop, and in fact, it was your speed reading seminar that inspired me, because my girlfriend at the time was a solicitor, and she goes, "Why don't you go and do a speed reading course? This guy's from The Secret. You might become a bit more academic, because instead of all these things you do." So I flew from Cape Town to Johannesburg for a speed reading seminar, and you took me from 45 words a minute to 450 words a minute in like 2 hours. And I was like, wow, who are you, mate? And your exact words were, "If you'd like to spend 24 hours with me, I have a program this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, you can spend 24 hours with me." And I was like, listen, you just taught me how to read from my stomach. I need to spend more time with this guy, because he's more than a speed reading teacher. And I'm no word of a lie, that weekend, that breakthrough changed my whole life, because I went from wanting to murder an individual in the morning to having nothing but love and gratitude for him, and hoping that my children have the same qualities. That moment transformed everything, because I saw my whole life. I remember I was the only first person at Rosebank that got the breakthrough that evening. And I went into the balcony and I had a cigarette, and I was like, oh my God, I watched my whole life thinking everything's been perfect my whole life. And I've been sold a crock of shit. And that was the moment breakthrough happened. And that contribution to my life has led to this point, has led to ManMeet embracing your work. And the amount of people we've reached through that is just undeniably amazing. So I want to thank you for that in front of everybody, because we're talking, that was maybe 15 years ago. And to have you on my show as a guest is nothing short of everything you talk about visualizing what you want and becoming it. So, John, this is epic.
Well, thank you for having me. It worked out as one of those synchronicities this morning, so it's great to be on. Thank you.
So listen, but we're talking about contribution. And it was funny when we were talking about who can we interview. I said, well, I know John can talk a lot about contribution and how contribution can transform. So the purpose of the show is we share some knowledge about contribution, and then how can the viewers take some form of action to transform some part of their life. So take it away, John.
I believe, I was speaking in Johannesburg at the Krugersdorp prison, and the headlines in the newspaper said, "Demartini returns to prison." That's what media does. I was speaking there. I wasn't going there. But I ended up going and speaking to 400 staff members in the warden. And then afterwards, I went 3 stories underground into a maximum security prison where 25 years to life sentences were. And really going into there, going into a holding room, and then going in with 6 guards, the warden, Al Jazeera Television, my publicist and my director, it was a little bit of a, what's the word? A bit of an angst, because you're going into a sea of orange uniforms of 1,000 inmates, maximum security.
Wow.
And we were led with 6 individuals, guards, into the center to stand on a plastic stool so I could be tall enough for people could see me, because some of these guys are bigger than I was. And the first thing I asked him, how many of you, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've experienced, still down deep inside, you want to make a contribution, you want to make a difference in the world? And in 1/1000th of a second, in simultaneous response, 1,000 people put their hand up.
Wow.
So deep inside every human being that's conscious, there's a calling, a spontaneity of desire to want to go make a contribution, to make a difference. And we can't make a difference subordinating to the herd. We make a difference by standing out, not fitting in. We make a difference by being authentic, not subordinating to the collective consciousness and trying to be part of the herd.
Mm.
We do it by being ourselves, an unborrowed visionary, one who listens to the voice and the vision on the inside more so than the opinions on the outside, that spontaneously wants to express what's deeply meaningful in a form of a product, service, or idea for humanity. And I think that that's innate within all of us. But many times we bang our head against the wall because we have been maybe misinformed about how to achieve that and been misled by the herd and therefore not heard. And so I think that that's an innate yearning to express something deeply meaningful and profound that each of us authentically express. It's our nature to do something extraordinary and to contribute.
So if someone's listening to this and they say, I'm not in a position where I can, how can somebody find a way to start contributing?
Well, I was speaking at a church in America, North America, United States. And I made a statement there that shocked everybody. They didn't expect it. I said, if you're poor, it's because you're not caring about humanity. And everybody went, what? I said, because if you really care about humanity, you'll find a way of asking questions, making observations, and clearly defining a product, service, or idea that could be of service to somebody directly with your own genius and creativity, or indirectly by finding somebody that has a solution to their problem and caring enough to go out and find a way of delivering that in a more effective and efficient manner than somebody else. So if you really care about human beings, you'll go out of your way to make a difference and to serve them. And there is no lack of possible service you can provide. Therefore, there's no lack of economics that you can have as a sustainable, fair exchange for transactions. So it shocked them at first. They were, what is he saying here? But at the end, they rallied because they realized that if they wallow in their own pity party and trauma drama and ho-hum doldrums, instead of focusing on making a difference and contribution to people, they'll shrink, not shine. And they'll cloud the clarity of a calling that they could deliver instead of get out there and prioritize their daily actions to achieve it and to deliver it. So the first thing you do is ask yourself, what is the highest priority action I can take right now in this moment under these circumstances and settings that can make the biggest difference to the selected individual that I feel that I have a product, service, or idea that can enhance? Ask yourself, what's the highest priority action? If you stick to high priority actions on a daily basis and get your blood glucose and oxygen into the forebrain where creativity and genius and creative strategies are born, you will find a way. When the why is big enough, the hows take care of themselves. When you have a big enough reason for making a difference in the world, you will find the solutions and how to achieve it. The people, places, things, ideas, and events will come into your life to help you align with that clarity of a vision of contribution, and you will manifest this direction. But first, prioritize your actions to get your executive center online instead of your amygdala. Your amygdala lives for survival. Your executive center works for thrival and contribution.
Wow. I just got lost there in what you were saying for a second, John. I did know what I was going to say, and then I just got lost in your words. And I'm lost for words, literally. Something resonated with what you said. Okay, that was it. Yeah, so exactly what you just said. There was a point where the founders of this charity, World Transformation Day, about 6-7 months ago, they asked me, Dizzy, we've known you for so long. Would you be an ambassador for this charity? And I was like, and I was really honored. And there's a direct correlation in now I have a cause larger than me, working with this charity and these children. And I'm now working with another charity with Down syndrome kids. And now I've got more people to contribute to. I'm being given more. There's much more money coming to me. There's much more social power coming to me. Everything is magnified because my vision is greater than me. It's greater than my family, greater than my country. The speech you did about the guy where you took your students out in Italy and they were throwing rose petals and you said, "What is this for?" And it was the gentleman they crucified. No, they burnt him.
Yes, it was Giordano Bruno.
That's it, yeah. So I can see exactly how that has worked in my life because of the show, the people I'm interviewing, the reach that I'm having, and the cause. So I witnessed that and can see it fully happening as we speak.
Well, the greater your cause, the greater your fulfillment. And I've said for years that if you want to make a difference in yourself and get beyond your own anxieties and hesitations, at least have a cause as big as your family. If you want to make a difference in your family, have a cause as big as your community. If you want to make a difference and be a leader in your community, have a cause as big as your city. If you want to make a difference in your city, be a leader in the city, give yourself a cause that's a statewide cause or province. If you want to make a difference in your state, have a national cause. You want to make a difference in the nation, have a global cause. But if you want to make a global difference, you need an astronomical cause. An astronomical cause is the calling of the soul, the calling of the celestial perspective, the broader perspective that transcends the local hypocrisies and biases and judgments towards something that's humanitarian, not cultural, not local. So an astronomical vision creates a global impact. And so the greater the vision, the greater the outcome, the greater the overview effect, and the least we end up judging and differentiating. We are mainly loving and contributing. So yeah, the bigger the vision, the bigger the life we have.
Yeah, I think some of the stuff you mentioned today, I think is really we're in very interesting times right now because a lot of people are being influenced by what they see, and like you rightly said, if you let the outside world control what's happening, you're not going to be in control. The inside is where you need to focus on. So right now, I mean, the last 18 months has been chaos for many people and blessings for others. And depending on, for me, you know, I've got together with a group of people and we're creating some really amazing things around the world. And we're changing the experience. So for me, the last 18, 19 months has been just miraculous. It's been the best time to ever be alive because I've got in touch with who I am and my calling in life. And I think being locked in your house, you've got two options. What are you going to do? I mean, the three things I did, I learned three new skills. I learned how to be a dad, I learned how to grow vegetables, and I learned a new skill on crypto. So for me, I'm not cutting hair anymore. I did tell my clients I'm going to go from cutting hair to maybe a millionaire or something, but I'm not wasting that time. So for me, I think what you said about focusing on the outside and more focusing on the inside opposed to the outside, I think there's never been a time for people to hear that than now.
Well, you know, when COVID first hit, Sync COVID, I call it Sync COVID, many people were comparing their current moment with what they were doing in the past. And as a result of it, were angry because they weren't able to do what they were kind of infatuated with in the past. And or they were holding on to a fantasy of the future and comparing their current reality to that. And anytime you compare your current reality to a fantasy about how it was or what you hope it will be, you're not grounded in how it is, and you're not seeing how what is today at this moment serves you. But it's wise to stop and take a moment and do an inventory, an objective inventory of what's happening right now, and asking how specifically is what's happening right now helping me fulfill my mission of contribution? How specifically is this experience, whatever I'm going through right now, whatever is happening right now, how is it on the way, not in the way? How is it helping me fulfill what's deeply meaningful, that inspires me, that I spontaneously love doing? How is it helping me fulfill this? And if you answer that question, instead of being a victim of history, be more of a master of destiny and answer that question, you will build incremental momentum and cascade a tremendous amount of momentum building experiences that will help you do something extraordinary in the contribution world. So I think that, it's nothing to do with the outside world. We have control of our perception, decisions, and actions, not the world around us, but our perception, decisions, and actions. And it's not what happens to us, it's how we perceive it, what we decide to do with it, and how we act upon it. So I think that this moment, like any moment in life, is an opportunity for something extraordinary. And if we compare ourselves to others, instead of comparing our daily actions to our own highest values and what we want to, contribute that's meaningful, we will minimize ourselves compared to others instead of maximize our contribution to others. So I'm a firm believer in prioritizing our life and focused on the aim, the chief aim, instead of distracting ourselves by what's going on around us in the social world around us. Find out what you can make a contribution is, your core competency that you can make a difference in, and get onto it. Build momentum around what is inspiring and meaningful to you. If you don't fill your day with high priority actions that inspire you, your day is going to fill up with low priority distractions that don't. And the purpose of those low priority distractions is to let you know that you're pursuing something that's not authentic and not meaningful to you. Pursue something that is, and watch what happens to your life. Pursue something that you want to do that makes a difference. If you fill your day with challenges that inspire you and problems you'd love to solve that inspires you, your day doesn't fill up with problems that don't. And finding a problem that serves human beings on a global scale is one of the most rewarding problems, because you're pursuing it. And that's what wakes up genius. Solving problems that inspire you create genius, and trying to avoid problems that don't creates, in a sense, debauchery and frustration. So prioritize your life, prioritize the problems that you want to solve, and get focused on what's truly meaningful, and watch what happens to your life.
And ask really good questions, right? So that question of how can I serve the world and contribute to the world? If you don't have the answer to that straight away, keep asking it, because
exactly. Well, you ask a question. What is the highest priority action I can do today that will serve the ever greatest number of people in the most efficient, effective manner with the resources I have access to now?
You can't get more specific than that. Yeah, that's perfectly the question. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can, if you've missed anything, you can rewind and listen to it again. I've got to say, John, your speed is so much better at this speed that you're talking, because I know sometimes I've spoken to my friends and said, I can't keep up with John, man. I can't keep up with him. He just speaks too quick. But on this Zoom, it's perfect speed. So yeah, really, really great.
I sometimes do things too fast. My girlfriend complains about that.
Well, John, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I mean, it's only been 20 minutes, but what you've shared in 20 minutes is phenomenal. But there's a song which I want to play, if I may. It's one of the songs that was created at the beginning of COVID, and I think it embodies what we're talking about. So let me quickly play the song.
This is a message for everyone who is listening. Hearts and minds connecting, building a world community. This is the moment the people are coming together. Spirit of transformation, reunite in the meaning of we. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. This is the moment, the signal, the klaxon, the ringing, the alarm to awaken, to ignite the passion within. Ready for changes, the spirit is stirred and shaken. Now we are primed to awaken. New chapters for us to begin. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. We can dream bigger. We open our eyes 'cause we forgot that we could see. We can dream better. We sing it aloud to be the best that we can be. Can be. Can be. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. Transformation. What is the biggest thing that you
You know, it always makes me teary when I watch that, because I'm living my dream. Interviewing you today, John, is something I dreamt of when I first met you. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a beautiful little video.
Yeah, so that was created for World Transformation Day. I remember we've actually got a video of you talking about it. So I'm going to say, John, if there's anything you'd like to add to this video for this Sit Down Sunday, because like I said, it's a dream of mine to interview you. And thank you.
Thank you. Appreciated the opportunity.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
journeys.
Sorry?
I say it's been our journeys.
Oh, yeah.
Parallel journeys. I think that deep inside, like I said, everybody has a desire to make a contribution, make a difference. And when we look at people, if we put them on a pedestal and minimize ourselves because we're too humble to admit what we see in them inside us, if we put them in the pit and exaggerate ourselves because we're too proud to admit what we see in them inside us, we don't put them in our heart where we realize that what we see in them is inside us. When we have a real reflection where the seer, the seeing, and the seen are the same, that's true intimacy. And I think there's a yearning to do that, to have an intimate appreciation for another individual. I've asked people if they had only 24 hours to live, what would they do with their life? And they say, to show my love and appreciation to the people who contribute to my life. Now, when we exaggerate ourselves, we're not authentic. When we minimize ourselves, we're not authentic. We're only authentic when we have a reflective awareness and realize that what we see in others is inside us. And then what we do is we make a difference in them by loving them and appreciating them. And then we make a difference in ourselves because we can't do that without feeling that in return. So if we love people for who they are, they turn into who we love. And so I think the greatest contribution is expressing our authenticity. And I believe that every one of our physiological symptoms, psychological symptoms, business symptoms, sociological symptoms, family symptoms, are all just feedback mechanisms to guide us homeostatically into authenticity, guiding us to be the most magnificent individual that we are innately, and bringing that to the world to contribute, and giving ourselves permission to shine that, not shrink from that. And so we're not here to put people on pedestals or pits. We're here to put them in our hearts. We're not here to live in the shadows or away from people, but actually realize that we can stand on their shoulders. And I think that to go and see together a higher horizon. So I'm a firm believer that the magnificence of who we are is far greater than any fantasies we'll impose on ourselves. So to make a contribution is simply to be ourselves. I think that's it. The magnificence of that. I tell people that no matter what you've done or not done, you're worthy of love. And that is one of the greatest contributions, just an authentic presence, a moment where we're grateful for the way it is, as it is, not trying to change us relative to others or others relative to us, but just making contribution by being present and finding out the needs and serving those needs.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the word from the main man, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, people, for watching. And so you can always rewind and watch it again. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Okay, perfect.